Mum, are you serious about this? I turned to my mother. I don't want you to feel pressured in any way. Not at all. Of course. I am. This is a decision that I should have made a long time ago. I am finally taking that courageous step. Isabella, this is not the time for sentiments. Your daughter is obviously out of context, and instead of you calling her back, you prefer to watch her and even join her in this madness? Don't call this madness. My mother turned fiercely at him. You can stay here like a scaredy cat while I finally take the step to my redemption. Luna Isabella, are you sure this is what you want to do? Luna Rachel asked. Her face gave signs of worrying. She truly cared about our well-being, unlike the alpha who cared about what his evil brother thought. I know it's sudden, and no one was expecting it, but I can't keep living like a servant here, like a visitor when I have my own home, a place where I belong to. She paused. A place where I wouldn't beg for attention or beg to be recognized. I watched my mother talk. It seemed like she had a lot to let out of her chest, so I let her talk. Aunt Isabella, please stay. You can't just leave us since Naomi's mind is made up, Anita pleaded. She had a way of pleading her way into people's hearts. I wish you could stay. Naomi, how could you lie like that without even thinking it wise to tell us? Kiara asked me, then turned to Thorne. You too? Not even a single goodbye? I knew exactly what I was trying to avoid when I tried to sneak out without letting people. I knew it would end this way. It would be hard to leave and people would shed tears uncontrollably. Don't worry, we'll be back soon enough, my mother replied, but Kiara didn't want to hear. She was angry already and walked out. I wanted to run after her, but Thorne did that instead. I'm so sorry. I was speaking to the girls. I had my reasons for doing that. I tried to defend myself. Shortly, Thorne came back with Kiara, holding her shoulders, making sure she doesn't carry. I'm sorry, I ran out because I was only hurt. I understand that, but you have to understand us too, I explained, hoping that whatever this is, it would end soon because we didn't have enough time. The journey is long. We should be on our way now. Laura reminded us. She only hugged Anita, who had become her best friend during our short time here. If this is what you want, take a deep breath and take that courageous step. Luna Rachel encouraged us as we stepped out of the palace. My mother took some deep breaths just like Luna Rachel advised, and she gave a hearty smile. It feels good to be out of here, she replied. I know that this decision she made wasn't easy on her. This was the first time she was leaving the palace in 13 years. Of course she would have bad thoughts and scares. Don't worry. We are together for as long as this journey is concerned. Where are we off to now? Laura asked. Stormclaw. Home sweet home, Laura called excitedly. She was almost excited about everything and everywhere we went. You seem happy, my mother asks. I am, she replied, literally jumping from one place to another. That's my clan. Tell me about it, my mother inquired. I forgot how inquisitive my mother could be. We've just left Ice-crest, and she was this inquisitive. I wondered what it would be like when we got there. Well, I love my clan, and we have the best warriors anyway. I always thought Ice-crests have the best warriors because they never lost a war. That's wrong, Laura responded. I went forward to meet Thorne, who was leading the way, while Laura and my mother talked about nature, Stormclaw. Hey, you, I greeted Thorne. Hey. He greeted me without looking at me. Is something wrong? No, I'm okay. I just think we should walk a little faster because I feel there'll be a heavy downpour, he said, and I looked up to see the weather. He was right. It looked like the clouds were all angry and in no time would pour out their anger. What should we do? I don't think we can make it to Stormclaw before this rain comes. If we walk faster, we'll make it to a little deserted town in the outskirts of this territory. We could stay there and wait for the rain. He suggested it, and I agreed with him. Laura, Mum, there's a heavy rain coming. I think we should walk faster. Oh, they all mumble, increasing their steps. It was going to be a heavy downpour. Oh, we haven't had such rain here for so long. Laura screamed at us as the wind began to rise and blow away things. It's coming. I think we should run. We all began to run, hoping the rain wouldn't catch up with us. I was afraid for Mum and Laura. They both caught cold so quickly. Here, it is. Thorne pointed at a small deserved hut at a distance, and then we all ran towards the hut. Then the rain began to drizzle, then slowly it increased. "Run!" I called Mother and Laura, who were still a distance behind me. Soon enough, we ran into the hut house, and just immediately the rain began to pour, each raindrop echoing through empty land. It was indeed a spectacle of nature's raw power. I didn't know when last I had experienced this type of strong downpour. The wind was heavy and was filled with the sounds of airdrop practically drumming like drums. The rain was determined as it struck the ground, causing the formation of water puddles. It was the best sight I've seen. "Is everyone okay?" I asked, and they all nodded. We were standing at the entrance of the hut trying to avoid the rain. "It won't open!" Laura cried. "Move," Thorne ordered, and with his masculine body he ripped the door open. "Be careful," he said. "This is a deserted place, so all manner of creatures could be seen." We all nodded and walked in. Slowly. It was dark, but there was a sort of light that was in the hurt that helped us to be able to see each other's faces. "Where's this place?" Luna Isabella asked. "I wonder," Laura replied. "This is strange. Why haven't I seen this hut here before, even when we've come so many times? Yes, I remember us going through this route. Why didn't I see this hut?" We went further, but as we kept going, it seemed that the hut, which was supposed to be small, kept leading us deeper into it. "What's happening?" I asked, desperately looking around and confused at what was happening. The hut was becoming longer and longer, leading us to further routes. "Isn't this a hut?" I asked, doubting if I actually saw a hut, or maybe it was my eyes playing tricks on me. "It is," Laura answered. "I'm sure we all entered a hut. Let's not go deeper. After all, we are waiting for the rain to stop. Going deeper means that we are getting distracted from where we are going." "I agree with him," my mother said. She was already shaking, and I knew she was scared. "How can we stay here and not know where we are?" I asked, encouraging the fact that we should work around at least and find out where we were. "Yes, we don't know if there's danger ahead of us." "What do you mean? This place is safe," Thorne answered, acting defensive, and I wondered why. "I'm tired, so I'll rest a bit. You three can go." She sighed, sitting on a large rock just behind her. "You won't be safe here, Mum. You better come with us," I told her, trying to help her up. "Don't worry about her. I'll stay here with her while you two go on your little adventure," Thorne responded, turning to sit with my mother. I could sense that he was acting up, and I didn't know how I was going to react to that. I could swear that Laura was so excited about the mystery trip down this hit that she didn't even notice his attitude. "All right," I responded and dragged Laura with me. I'm coming," Laura cried after me. We walked in silence, so my mind literally occupied with thoughts of Thorne. He was acting up again, and I didn't know how to take care of this situation. We continued walking, Luara gasping at everything she saw. "Amazing. Beautiful. I love this." These were her words as we walked further. It was getting boring and uninterested, and I felt that the rain must have stopped. I was about telling her that we should go back when she whispered to me, "Wait, do you hear that?" "No." I said to Laura, "You're always hearing things even when there's nothing." I was interrupted as Laura pushed me back aggressively. "Shh." She used her hands to indicate that I should shut up and then set her ears to hear whatever she was hearing. "Listen." I followed her footsteps as I brought my ear forward to hear too. I heard whispers of men in low tones. I couldn't hear properly what they were saying, so I went closer, quietly. Laura followed me, trying not to make a sound. We couldn't see their faces properly, but we could now hear their voices, even thought faintly. The man dressed in white looked like someone I know from... Where are they now? I don't know, but my wife says they left very early this morning. I suspect they'd be coming to my clan according to what Lucas told me. Immediately, Lucas's name was mentioned. I and Laura glanced at ourselves. This could be another Lucas, but there's just one Lucas whom everyone knew, that he caused havoc wherever he went to. "That sounds like Mascot," Laura whispered to me, very carefully. "That can't be him. I just feel like I know the man in white." I told her and then watched the two mysterious men. Why would these two men come here to have a discussion like this if it wasn't such a big secret? It's him. I know his voice. That stupid lady should be put in her place. The man that Laura pointed out as Mascot finally said out loud. He walked up and down finally, and we could see his face. It really turned out to be Mascot. It was him standing and discussing me, obviously. I felt betrayed as we stood there, peeking at them. He was once my friend. How could he turn against me just because I didn't give him a chance? I was about to tell Laura that we should leave since this wasn't news anyway. It wasn't news that I was now the billion in some people's story. The only thing I wanted to know was who the man in white was and why he was always plotting against. Did I really have so much enemies? I turned to Laura, but she was lost. She stared at Mascot with an emotion I couldn't explain. Was she feeling sorry for him, or did she actually want him back in her life? A traitor? I shoved her quietly, and she came back to the present while cleaning her nose. "I'm sorry, let's go," she said. I held her as we were about leaving. Just one look at the traitor that was once my friend, I discovered that the man in white had finally turned, and it turned out to be someone I knew as well. Dan, Cleo's husband? How could he? Why was he here? With Mascot? I had a lot on my mind. What did he want, and what would he benefit from my death? "Let's go," Laura said, when she noticed the shock on my face. We walked back slowly without a word to each other. I was stunned with my discovery, and so was Laura. We truly had demons as friends, enemies as friends, too. Did Cleo know of this? I heard him mention that his wife gave him information, so Cleo was in on this too? What would NY death do for this people? I wondered. "We need to leave now," I said immediately. We got to where Thorne and my mum was waiting. "I was about coming to search for you guys." "The rain stopped," Thorne responded as he helped Luna Isabella up. "Thank goodness, we should be on our way now." As we walked out of this strange hut, none of us said a words to each other. It was getting lonelier for me by the days. Who wasn't against me? Who should I trust and who shouldn't I? I was tired of everything but looking at my mum. I got strength. I was the reason why she got on this journey in the first place. I shouldn't give up now for her sake. As we walked, I prayed we would get to Stormclaw faster because at this point we were all exhausted. "Did you see something? You looked devastated when you came back." My mother urged me to talk to him. I didn't want to say anything so as not to trigger any emotions. Laura had left because of Mascot, so I had to wait when we were resting. Laura was staring blankly at the water bank while we put up our tent at a hidden corner of the forest. I had made sure the tent was hidden because I didn't want to be attacked by Mascot and his team. "Laura looks so distant. What did you guys see at that hut?" My mother asked again. "Mum, we saw her fiancé, someone who promised her marriage but bailed. Instead, he came after me, and I can't honestly explain why." I explained to my mother in low tones. Thorne was packing some firewood we would use to make a fire during the night. "Her fiancé likes you?" "Not just that. He proposed to me." "What?" Because I said no, he turned to my enemy and started working with Lucas against me. Seriously, that's so sad for Laura. She doesn't deserve this. She's such a loving woman. "Yeah," I answered, acknowledging the fact that she truly was a good friend to me and I loved her. "Maybe I should go talk to her," Mother said. "No, I think she should be alone, just for the moment," I told her. "Are you okay?" I asked her in act of concern. "Yes, I am." She looked at me, smiling. "I just don't understand why it seems that everyone we trust is going against us. I just can't get my head around it." "Me too," I said. I wanted to speak to Orion so badly to find out what he had to say about this new development. I didn't hear what Mascot and Dan were plotting, but judging from the fact that they had to hide in a dark place to discuss it, it wasn't good for me. "Cleo's husband?" My mother wondered out loud. I thought he was quite a responsible man when I had met him. I remembered immediately how something was off when I had set my eyes on Dan. I remember how I just didn't like the aura he brought. Was it my gift? As all this went through my mind, I just felt that I had known him from somewhere. "Yes, I have seen that face, somewhere before," I exclaimed, finally realizing. "You've seen Dan before?" my mother asked me. "Yes." I bit my nails as I tried to concentrate and remember. Yes, he was the one I saw in my imagination in my room weeks ago." "In your imagination?" My mother looked at me like I was running crazy. "Yes, Mom," I answered, but she looked lost. "Okay, I'll explain. So at Shadowcrest, we met a soul shifter, Orion, and he told me that I had exceptional gifts. He mentioned many things, a lot of them which I haven't tried. He was the one who also told me about Lucas being the one who killed my father and not Magnus, the king. My mother nodded as I spoke, quietly. He's such a great man because he helped us win against Lucas when they attacked Shadowcrest. Shadowcrest was attacked? I was scared as I saw the shock on my mother's face. Why are you so shocked? I asked her as I watched her bow her face. I'm sorry, I didn't know I was still so much attached to Shadowcrest, she said. I know Orion. I'm surprised he is still alive. He was so old at that time. Seriously, because he looks so young and cute now, Laura was even falling for him. I said, and we burst out laughing. Just then, I glanced at Laura to find out that she was still seated at the exact spot we met her. I need to go talk to her, I told my mother. I went forward to see that she wasn't crying but throwing stones at the river. You're such a child. Throwing stones in the river? I asked so loudly that she turned, giving me a sad smile. It's been so long that I have done this. It feels so good to do it once again. She responded. I sat close to her, opening my palm so she could drop some stones as I wanted to join her. I threw the first one, and it bounced 3 times before finally falling into the river. Then I threw the second one. It was truly fun, just like she said. This reminds me so much of my childhood. Oh, I miss not having to worry about being killed, I said, joking. Me too, I miss not having to worry about the food I'll eat. It's so tiring, she responded. Me too, I miss not having to run around naked and worry about anything. I answered back and we laughed. Me too, I miss not having to get my heart broken by a man I trusted so much. Laura responded with hurt in her eyes and voice. I could see she was trying not to cry, but it was working. You don't have to hold it back. I'm here with you, I told her, bringing her head on my shoulder. I shouldn't be crying for that horrible man. I shouldn't. He had the guts to break my heart, propose to you, and then turn against us. I shouldn't be crying, she said, the tears interrupting her. Truly, she shouldn't be crying, but here she was shedding uncontrollable tears for a man who hurt her without thinking twice. It was stupid to cry, but it made her feel okay, and that's what mattered. We went back to the tent while I put her to sleep, then watched my mother sleep too. I looked out for Thorne but didn't see him. He was acting strange, and I couldn't help to notice that this was exactly the way Mascot acted before he betrayed me. Could I really trust him? He saw how upset I looked coming out from that hut, but he still hadn't talked to me. He had ignored me the whole evening, and I knew that he didn't want to talk to me. That was why he had left. Most times, he acted like he was so in love with me. The other times, he would ignore my existence. I didn't know what was up with him. But I knew I couldn't keep up with the drama while I had so much on my mind. The next morning was a quick one. We packed up the tents, and in a jiffy, we were already on our way to Stormclaw. I think horses will make our journey faster, Thorne suggested as we walked down the valley. We had woken up from sleep but didn't see him, so we waited. He came back later on to say that he had to look around the territory. Where can we find horses? I asked. I know a place, not very far from here. All right, I said. Everyone was cold. Thorne was in his usual quiet mood, Laura not quite in the mood for jokes, and then my mother walking slowly and getting tired easily. No one was in the mood for chit-chat, just like we usually do. This has gotten harder and harder for us these days, and I don't even know how to face it. Thorne led us to a little village that I didn't know even existed. As we waited by the well, taking clean water, he spoke to some men so they could give us some horses to make our journey easier and faster. I was still scared of riding a horse, and even though Thorne had promised to teach me, he still hadn't said anything about it. I knew he couldn't teach me now, since there wouldn't be any time for that. These horses are for sale, I heard one of the men argue. He must have not agreed when Thorne begged him. I went closer to Thorne to properly understand what was going on. What does he want? He wants to be paid for the horses. Thorne turned to me. Sir, please, could you just let us have these horses? We'd surely pay back on our way home. I pleaded with the men with the true intention of paying when we went back to Shadowcrest. You don't pay, you don't get the horses. The man replied, simply then turning his back against me. I'll pay him. Luna Isabella said. She stood up from her where she sat, removing her gold watch from her wrist, then handing it over to the man. Take this. This would be able to cover the payment for the horses. Mum? I held her back. You can't sell that, I told her. It was a gold watch given to her by Alpha King Magnus, and he wouldn't be happy that it was sold just for mere horses. Not that I care how he felt, I just didn't think my mum should be giving her gold jewelry to these greedy men. Don't worry. We need these horses. After all, we're all exhausted, my mother said, considering us all. I nodded as she gave the man the bracelet. He smiled, showing decaying teeth. I hope that's enough, my mother asked. She was quite ready to sell more of her stuff if it wasn't enough. Of course it's more than enough, and he knows it, I exclaimed. Can we have the horses now? How many do you want? He asked, and I looked at Thorne. 2 will do, he answered, and I shot him a surprised look. You and Laura take one since she can ride a horse while my mother and I take the other one. Oh, my mother exclaimed. Thank you. I never learned how to ride a horse, even though it sounds funny. My mother laughed, and I smiled at how happy my mother was. I can teach you, Thorne suggested. Maybe when we get settled. I watched as my mother literally jumped up and down in excitement at being taught how to ride a horse. I felt that way too when he promised to teach me. I watched him choose 2 strong, heavy horses and take them with us. You'll go with Laura while I go with your mother on this. He pointed it out to me. I smiled and went with the flow of things even when I didn't understand what was going on. Ayuia didn't say much. She only climbed to the back of the horse, then helped me up after I had helped my mum get at the back of Thorne's horse. In minutes, we were already so far from the village. I grabbed Laura by the waist as she rode the horse with ease. She moved with effortless grace and control. There seemed to be a mutual understanding between the horse and Laura, making the whole scene look like a dance. It continued like this until we sighted Stormclaw from afar. We are here, Thorne announced as we entered. The clan was quiet as usual, the atmosphere calm and peaceful. I missed this, unlike Ice-crest, where everything was bustling and hustling. Life here was simple and harmonious, like other clans. We made a stop at the Alpha's den, since he was the one we had come to see. He was in a meeting with some strange visitors when we came, so we had to wait. Minutes later, we were invited into the throne room to speak with him. How are you, my friends? He greeted us while giving us a smile. He was especially speaking to me and my mother, since he already knew who Thorne and Laura were. Good day, my lord. I bowed respectfully, and so did my mother. We are here because of the discussion we had earlier with you about merging with Shadowcrest to fight a strong territory that has been plotting against us. I spoke fluently without stuttering. Yes, I remember quite vividly and have been waiting on you ever since. He said, and it got me puzzled when he said that he has been waiting for our response. You see, a certain clan came here with Mascot yesterday to ask for the same proposal that you made to me. Mascot? Yeah, he is here? Laura asked, suddenly interested in the conversation. Yes, he came with a certain man, and they asked that I give my warriors to help them fight a certain war. At first I wanted to give them the support they asked for, since Mascot is a trusted member of this clan, but since you proved to me otherwise, I decided to wait on you, he said, then paused. I remember you told me that you wanted my support to fight a clan, so I told them I would get back to them. Yet we all looked at the Alpha, hoping he would make the right decision and join us. My question is, are you fighting against this same clan that Mascot came here to plead for? Ice-crest Park? I was short of words, but I had to respond. Yes, my lord. Mascot is actually against us and is plotting with a rival park to destroy us. I don't trust him at all, I said, speaking for everyone. I trust you because ever since you came to this land, you have brought us good tidings. The healing ointment was made by you, and it has been helpful to us all, and I'm grateful to you. Trust me, my lord. I won't take this gesture for granted, because I promise if you grant us access to your warriors, I'll make you proud, and you wouldn't regret it at all. So Mascot is the enemy, right? He asked. Yes. I was interrupted by the outburst of Laura. No, he'll change. He is not the enemy. Please, my lord, I promise to talk to him. Please do not let any havoc come to him. I promise I'll make him change his mind. Laura bowed and ran out of the throne room, leaving us all in shock. She seems to have not gotten over him. The Alpha noticed. I didn't know she still had feelings for him. I promise I'll make this better, and I'll get back to you. I told the Alpha. He nodded. You better talk about and decide together as a team. I'm afraid you don't have time for this drama that's going on between you all. Did the alpha also notice the weird glance I and Thorne occasionally stole at each other, or the fact that my mother was tired and didn't want to move an inch anymore, or the fact that Laura, herself, has been acting all weird? How was this goal of beating Lucas and Mascot be possible when we all couldn't agree? You're going against a strong team. Remember that, and you need no distraction in your preparations. He paused. I'm going to give you guys time to think about it and get back to me. If not, I'll have to choose the Mascot team. You know that as much as we have the strongest warriors, we are a small clan and we have to join someone. If not, we'll be on every clan's bad side. He said, and I nodded, understanding everything he was saying. I wish you guys luck. I'll support you in every decision that you'll make. Just be quick about it. The alpha finally concluded, dismissing us. I took Luna Isabella to my chambers while Thorne left for his. Mother was tired and her feet were hurting, so I helped her relax them with the healing ointment. I heard the alpha mention that you made this yourself. I nodded, not really in the mood for a conversation. That's nice. We used to make it at Shadowcrest. I wonder if it still exists. Of course it does. Someone taught me how to make it, Diane. I paused. You might not really know her since you're not interested in anything about this journey. I was getting upset and I blamed my mother for it. Are you upset? Yes, I am. I blurted out. You're not helping matters. None of you is. I wanted to cry so badly that I bent my head in order to avoid the tears. You're still in your royal attire, if you notice. No one wears that here. Look around. We're surrounded by forest and we need to survive, coupled with the fact that you complain a lot. I'm just tired. I'm sorry if I'm the problem. She simply answered me, took her leg from me and sat down quietly, looking blankly into space. I'm sorry, Mum. I felt bad that I had spoken to my mother in that manner. I'm just tired of everything and no one is making it easy. Laura, whom I thought was over Mascot, seemed to have fallen back in love with him in this situation, and then there's Thorne, who's giving me an attitude. I don't even want to have that discussion right now. I scratched my head. I understand how you feel, but I want you to understand that this fight is yours, and yours alone. For them, it'll feel like they're giving up their lives for you, but for you, this is your responsibility, and I know I haven't made it easy for you, but I'll do my best to support you in any way I can. I smiled in response to what she said. I knew that this was my fight, but I couldn't do it without my friends. They were the ones that have helped me this long, so I needed them. I helped prepare my mother's bath and let her shower while I went in search of Laura. I went out, wondering where she must have run to from the throne room. I decided to check her chambers, but she wasn't there. I searched thoroughly and was about to leave when something asked me to check through her back door. I did as I felt, and there Laura was speaking to Mascot. I love you, really, and I know you saw that plot that Naomi played out, but you should believe me. I won't ever do anything to hurt you. Mascot held her hands as they were sitting pretty close to each other. Laura's not letting go of his. She still loved him. I saw you propose to Naomi. That's exactly what she said. Laura retorted. I'm sorry you had to see that, but I promise you I didn't intend to hurt you. We've known each other for so long, even before Naomi came into the picture. Why would I leave now? I'm sorry. I was confused and I didn't know what to do. Are you on my side now? Mascot asked and waited patiently for an answer. I wanted to know Laura's response too to this question. I am, but can you let Naomi into your team? She was pleading on my behalf, but I didn't appreciate that at all. She was literally selling me out to an enemy, and it wasn't acceptable. I halted, but I couldn't do much. I didn't want her to know that I was spying on her and her evil lover. Was Laura done with me? Was she going to help Mascot? Let's go back to how we used to be before this whole saga started. Mascot suggested and Laura nodded. Don't cry. I'm here. I'll be here for you. Was Laura under some sort of a spell? Was she not the one who together with me saw Mascot with Dan, who was also plotting against me? Was Laura now an enemy to me? I'm going to help you. Just promise me that you will love me forever, Laura said. Was Laura really under a spell? I didn't want her to know that I had seen her with Mascot, or she would get upset that I was invading her privacy, so I hid at the corner and watched everything that went on with them. We could go back to how we were, Mascot continued. Laura turned away her face, but using his hands, he made her face him. Listen to me, don't you see? This is all the plan of Naomi. She wanted to get us separated and then made me look like the enemy. Mascot said. It was obvious that Laura was falling for his misleading words. What did she want? Love? Attention? Was she that desperate? I need you to listen to me. Listen carefully. Naomi is the enemy and not me. Not me. But you're working with Lucas and he is evil, Laura retorted, and I smiled. She was still in control after all. Mascot came closer, reaching out to hold her hands. She moved a step backwards, but that was it. She was totally helpless in front of him. Who said Lucas was evil? You only listen to what Naomi says and never try to make your own findings, huh? Mascot carefully caressed her hands. I knew that was it for Laura. She was weak in front of him, her legs jiggling, unable to stand properly or concentrate. Work with me, and you won't regret it. It seemed Laura didn't want anyone finding out that she spoke to Mascot because I saw her walk out quietly at a corner. Mascot had left too. I didn't know how to approach the issue and how to go about it. Laura was at the brink of falling for Mascot's tricks. I knew Mascot never loved her and would never love her. He was only trying to play with her emotions. I thought of ways to prove to Laura that this man was playing with her because I knew she wouldn't believe me, if only I told her that he was bad for her. I took a deep breath as I walked back to my chamber, feeling so restless and tired of the whole situation. The truth was that Laura would never believe me again, or anyone else, except she sees for herself the kind of man Mascot was. Why did Mascot suddenly need Laura for his games? Why did he suddenly need her? I knew he obviously wanted to get to me through her since we were close friends, but how was he going to use her? What would she do for him? I went back to my chambers, eager to talk to my mother and Thorne about this recent weird development. Then I remembered that it was weird between me and Thorne at the moment, so I went to my mother. If I knew Laura very well, I'll say she'll be coming to ask me some questions based on what she heard from Mascot. My mother saw the gloomy look on my face from when I got back from Laura's chambers. Why do you look like that? She had taken her bath and had changed into one of my clothes. You look so different, I said as I examined her properly. She indeed was looking like a different person wearing these normal clothes and not her usual dresses and crown. Well, as you told me, I have come to the realization that this isn't a palace anymore and I have to dress for the job at hand. I promise to do my best and make things easy for you in this situation. That was the sweetest thing I have heard from anyone in a long time. The tears threatened to fall as I smiled at her. She was indeed my mother, always ready to help me. Thank you, Mum. I'm happy about this, I greeted. No problem. Tell me what's bothering you. She sat next to me. It's Laura. I feel she'll follow Mascot and leave me. Laura? Luna Isabella chuckled. That isn't possible. Laura is your best friend and she'll help you whenever you need help. I'm afraid it isn't like that, I answered. What do you mean? Did something happen? Yes, something happened. I saw Mascot speaking to Laura. You don't have to worry then. She must have put him in his place forever. I was interrupted by my mother. I'm afraid it's not like that. I looked sadly at her. I didn't want to break her heart or make her feel bad about Laura. It's Naomi? I heard Laura's voice outside, and I knew she had come to make her inquiries according to what Mascot had told her. She was so predictable, but she wouldn't believe me when I told her. Mum, let me speak to her. I'll be back. I told my mum, turned towards the door and took a deep breath, whispering to myself, It's okay. It's okay. Oh, I have been calling you. She became startled when she saw me enter. Did something happen? I asked her, looking so intently at her. What do you mean? I came over to ask my friend. Is there a problem? She was getting upset because I asked a simple question. I mean, you ran out from the Alpha's throne room and said some disturbing things about Mascot. Oh, that. She looked away, guilty. I'm sorry, she said after a pause. What was that about Mascot bringing Innocent and you talking to him so he could change? Do you really think he'll change? I asked, waiting patiently for her response. I don't know. I mean, no. Her words weren't stable. It seemed like she was blabbing. So where did you go to because I looked for you but didn't find you? You did. Her eyes widened, and I could see the shock on her face. Well, she gained her composure back again. I went to clear my head. Where? I didn't mean to be too interrogative, but when she stared at me, I had to cover up because I didn't want her to know I saw her. Well, I mean you ran out so fast, so I was worried. I lied. Oh, I just went to clear my head, she said and smiled at me. A lot has been going on, and most times I wonder if I'm ready for any of it, she chuckled. I'm sorry I put you in this situation, I said, closely observing her countenance. She scratched her head, then used her hands to comb her hair. She was nervous, and she was trying to prepare her mind for the questions she wanted to ask me. I'm sorry, Laura stuttered again. I wanted to ask you. She turned to me with a fake smile. It's no big deal, but can I ask you some questions? Go on. I was expecting this. I'm sorry, but how do you know that Lucas is the bad guy in your story? I don't understand, I told her, then she turned to face me properly. She was literally glaring at me. What made you think Lucas is actually a bad guy? She asked again, this time carefully. I decided to give her honest answers. I wanted to fight for my friend too, just like Mascot was trying to turn her against me. Well, he killed my father. You heard when Orion, the soul shifter, said it. What if he was wrong? Orion, wrong? How could he be wrong? He is a soul shifter, I said. After all, you fell for him, huh? I teased her and expected a shy smile, but she gave me nothing. I know, but that's in the past. I have been thinking lately that maybe people that told you about Lucas lied to you. Why do you say so? Have you been speaking to someone? I asked and regretted it immediately. The goal was not to let her find out that I knew about her and Mascot, but I couldn't stop myself. No, I have been thinking. She repeated, emphasizing on the thinking. It might all be wrong after all. You weren't even born when it all happened. What suggestion are you making? I'm trying to understand. I couldn't pretend anymore. I wanted to unleash my anger on her and let her know that I knew she was about to betray me. I'm not making any suggestions. I just wanted us to be sure we are fighting the right battle. Of course we are. Lucas killed my father, and he's out for me and you too. Because I'm helping you, she murmured. What? Nothing. Continue, she said, thinking I didn't hear what she said. She had already gotten on my nerves with the comment she made, but I was trying to forgive her. I just want you to know that I can never deceive you. I understand that this can be overwhelming sometimes, but please stick with me, I said, and watched her glare at me with doubtful eyes. What was she thinking? I wanted her to be convinced that I would never plot against her, that Mascot was the enemy. What if, really, Lucas is the real enemy, while Mascot was simply a tool he uses to accomplish his selfish desires? Mascot was never a bad person. I have known him for a long while now, so I feel Lucas must have forced him into this. I couldn't believe that it was Laura talking. How could she think that a strong-headed man like Mascot could be cajoled into leaving his friends? I didn't know what to say to her, seeing how she was intently looking at me and eagerly waiting for me to accept her judgment of Mascot. In summary, what are you saying? I asked. Accept Scott back to our group. He's such a good man, and he'll help us too, since he now knows the secrets of Lucas. Laura literally jumped up while making her plea, but he betrayed us. We can't trust a traitor. He didn't betray us. Didn't you hear what I said? He was forced to do what he did. The Mascot I know would never do that to his friends. She was suddenly getting upset, and I needed to find a way to calm her down. I was trying to find a way to make her smile and not make things worse. She was supposed to be on my side, not the other way round. Have you been speaking to Mascot? I finally asked the question. He isn't good for you. No, I haven't. One look at me, she finally came to the realization that I knew what she was trying to hide. Yes, I did, but what, Laura? You're giving me up for Mascot? Someone who left you when you needed him? I didn't mean to shout, but it happened so suddenly. You knew, didn't you? She left my hands, which she had held on to for as long as we talked. You knew but pretended not to, right? No. I stuttered, not sure of what to say. Were you spying on me? Were you? She asked me. No, I wasn't. I only came to see you, and why are you getting upset about this? You're the one who's trying to give me to your evil ex-lover. Mascot isn't evil, and he isn't my ex-lover. He still loves me so much. I chuckled, mocking her. Really, is that what he told you? Are you really that naive? I screamed at Laura, and that was the first time ever. Yes, I am. You found love here at Stormclaw, didn't you? Why does it seem like you found love and I lost mine? Mascot and I were doing very well before you came into our lives. What do you expect me to think? She asked me, screaming back at me too. Believe me, don't think about anything. Just believe me. I would never ever mislead you, Laura. That could be true, but how will I know? How? I don't know if I can trust you anymore. This journey is for you and your benefits. Isn't it selfish of you? She asked, and for the first time, I felt guilty about this whole stuff. Was I really selfish? After all, this was my problem after all, and I was dragging them into it. Should I let her go? Laura was the first lady I met who had been so kind to me. She gave me food to eat, shared her chambers with me, and gave me food. She was a good friend to me, and I felt her friendship. I didn't want to lose her, but it was obvious she wanted to go. She wanted to leave and go back to Mascot. Is this about me and Thorne? He's not even speaking to me. I told her. I don't care about you or Thorne. I just want to go back to my steady lifestyle where I was happy and satisfied. Life made more sense then. She stood up from where she sat. I'm getting back with Mascot. If you want me back to your team, then you'll also let him too. I love this man and I hope you understand. I stood there watching my best friend walk away. It was heartbreaking seeing this scene play out in front of me. She walked out of me and didn't even look backwards. I bent my head downwards, wondering what exactly was happening. This was the time to talk to Thorne. I hope he would listen to me, even though we were having a little problem. The goal was to finally get the Alpha's blessings and permission from him, allowing us to use his warriors for the war against Ice-crest. That was why Mascot was here. They had come to use their cunning tactics to get the clan with the strongest warriors on their side, but I was grateful I had told the Alpha first. He had told me to resolve the issue and difference we have, since we are supposed to be together fighting this. I understood what he was trying to say, but my only issue is that Laura was out of the group. I didn't know how to convince her or make her believe me about Mascot, a liar and thief. My mother must have heard my voice when I spoke to Laura, because she came out with shock on her face. What just happened? What did I hear? I was speechless because I couldn't understand it myself. It was all too surprising for me. Mascot's and Lucas's plans were coming to pass. He had finally won Laura back, and she turned against me. Laura has finally turned against me. I said in simple words as I had nothing else to say. Turned against you? My mother's eyes were wide open. She's your best friend. No, she's not, I said. At least not anymore. I think that man you talked about bewitched her. I haven't known Laura as long as you, but I know that she has a good heart and would never try to hurt someone. She's not that kind of person. My mother said, and I stared at her. She's not? Didn't you hear all she said? Maybe I trusted her too much, I said, feeling downcast. Don't worry, she'll come around. She's just feeling a little confused right now. I don't care if she comes around or not, I blurted out. I'm going to see Thorne. I need to talk to him about this. I walked out slowly and could still feel the intense look of my mother on me. I went slowly to Thorne's chambers. Anyone who saw me would think that I had been banished or done something wrong too. When I got to Thorne's chambers, he was clearing the grasses around his chambers. Thorne? I called him and he turned sharply. How are you doing? He asked in such a formal way that I stopped to think about it. I'm okay. Have you been okay? I asked, getting closer. Yes. Why? No reason. I'm just concerned, I said, and he scoffed. He stared at me for some seconds and ignored me. What are you doing? Clearing this grasses, he answered, going back to cut the grasses even though I was standing. He didn't offer to hug me or even give me a seat. It made me begin to wonder if I had done anything wrong to him. Did something happen? I asked. What? He stood up, sweat coming down his face. What do you mean? I decided not to bring up the discussion because I didn't want an argument to happen. Laura isn't talking to me again. I also don't think she's continuing with us too, I said, and went to sit down on the small stool there. Why? Did you upset her? No. I exclaimed. Why would I upset her? I asked, wondering why Thorne would think that I was the reason for the fallout between Laura and myself. I'm just asking. He said and turned back to clearing his grasses. She'll come around. He simply said. Is that it? I asked, expecting more from him. I was at the brink of exploding. Is that what you can say? What else? He opened his palms. You know, this past few days, you've been acting weird. I don't know what exactly is wrong, but you need to get it together. We are grown up, and we should be able to talk things through. Trust me, I don't know what you're trying to do now, he said to me. I was getting more upset with the way he treated me. Let's finally have this discussion, shall we? I stood up from where I sat and went to talk to him. What are you? Don't try to play innocent with me. You asked me to be your girlfriend, which I agreed to. So what happened? I was close to tears. Tell me what I did wrong so I can apologize at least. I'm not cut out for this. Hey, he came close to me. I told you that I'm good. Okay, I'm fine. I looked at his eyes, but still couldn't get that assurance I so much desired to see. He went back to take his cutlass back to his chambers, leaving me standing for a while. Then he came out. Will you finally teach me how to ride a horse? I asked. I don't really have the time for that, he answered. I think that I should take the warriors out so they could go train with other clans so they would get fit for the war that's coming. It was a good suggestion, but I didn't see the need of taking the warriors to another clan when we could all go to Shadowcrest and, with the help of Orion, train and get ready. Why do you think so? Isn't it better we join hands with Shadowcrest while we wait and hope other clans can join us? We can't just hope and fold our hands. In case you didn't know, Lucas is making bug plans. I'm sure this isn't the only land he has gone to for alliance. That man is truly after you. He commented, and I frowned at that statement. What do you mean? You didn't really tell us the whole truth, Naomi. What really happened between your father and Lucas? Why is he after you like you're a precious gold? He had doubts in his eyes as he spoke. You heard what Orion said, didn't you? Lucas is threatened by me, and that's why he's trying so hard to get rid of me. I don't believe that story anymore. I really think something must have happened that led to this war. Your father might not be all innocent like you think. Thorne said without considering how I would feel. That was it for me. I had finally taken enough from him. Don't insult my father, I told him with a resigned voice. I'm just saying, you need to make your findings because war isn't a pleasant thing, okay? Have you been speaking to Mascot as well? Well, it doesn't matter. He's been my friend for such a long time. We just fell off because of this matter. You shouldn't be listening to Mascot, I shouted at him. Mascot is jealous of you. It doesn't matter, he said, paused, and then asked, Can I be the commander-in-chief of this army we are building? It was a weird question coming from Thorne, even though I knew him as a greedy person. Why would he want to take such a significant position just suddenly? Is this also the handwork of Mascot? Did he put you up to this? I inquired from him. No one put me up to anything. I want to know if I can do that. I want to hear from you so I know I'm not wasting my time with you. Where's all this coming from? 2 days ago, we were good. You asked me to be your girlfriend. Now this? How? I asked, wondering where it all went wrong. Well, let's say I realized that I needed to be smart. Whatever we were doing was just for your benefit, not mine or anyone else's, but yours. You don't really expect me to waste my time without any sure chance of benefiting from it? I swallowed hard and stared at Thorne with wide eyes and my mouth open. What exactly was going on? Something happened to my friends and I needed to find out. Are you giving up on me too? Like Laura? What the hell came over both of you? I screamed at him. Maybe because we realize that we deserve better than you treat us, so we are fighting for what we deserve. But I give you the respect you deserve, I said to him. Respect? Who cares about that? I asked a simple question and I want an answer. Would you make me the commander-in-chief of the army when it's finally set up? I knew he had hidden plans, and that was why he wanted me to make him commander-in-chief. It was clear that the people I so much trusted and loved were against me, and it made me want to go back to my shell. Why are you doing this? Everything was going well before you had to start acting like this. What do you think? You honestly think the problem is me? Thorne laughed. No. You don't get it yet. The problem is you. You and not anyone else. Me? What did I ever do to you guys? I have tried to be a good friend. I tried to explain but was cut short. You mean a selfish friend, 'cause that's what you are. A lot of people will be endangered because of this stupid conquest of yours, and all you think about is yourself. How selfish can you be? I couldn't believe that it was Thorne speaking to me with such disgust on his face. He hated me at the moment. You should leave. Go back to your clan so our clan will go back to being the peaceful land it was used to being. Thorne concluded and walked away. Was I really a bad influence to this clan? Was I really selfish? Thoughts in my head kept running high and low. I didn't know how to take the information I had gotten from Thorne. Did everyone else think that I was selfish too by deciding to fight for my father's clan, for daring to be different? Maybe that's how the Alpha sees me too. Selfish. There was absolutely no need asking for their help because they wouldn't help me. I remembered how the Alpha encouraged us to stand together, but currently we weren't even together anymore. I couldn't help but to think that this was plotted together by Laura and Thorne, because how would both of them turn against the same day? It was truly unbearable for me as I walked to the throne room. I wanted to meet the Alpha and hear what he had to say. I didn't have the motivation or energy to fight whatever that will be. This journey has gotten me into trouble a lot of times. Maybe it was time for me to let it go. I walked into the throne room without being invited to. As the guards were rushing in to pull me away, the Alpha ordered them to let me go. Good day, my Alpha. How are you? I'm sorry I had to barge into this, but I finally have an answer to your question. I answered, acting out of character. Well, what is it? I'm all ears, he answered, listening carefully. Well, my answer is that I am tired. I am so tired. Tired of hoping and praying and wishing. I just want peace. So, in other words, I don't want the war anymore. I was supposed to ask you to give your warriors to Lucas, but you can't do that. Your warriors are the strongest known. If they ever teamed up with Lucas, who is so deadly the whole world would be affected and not just my clan. I hope you know what you're saying? The Alpha asked, making sure he heard me well. Yes, I do. I don't want war anymore. I just want peace, I answered, calming myself down. Anyway, I aren't a member of this clan, so I have to find my way soon enough. I bowed my head as I said this. You're leaving? Why? I'm not welcome anymore, I answered politely. What happened? He asked me, his face filled with concern. Is it your mother? Is she okay? Yes, I just think it's best we go back to where we belong. I bowed and was about to leave. Take good care of yourself and don't think too much. The moon goddess will surely help you in your time of need. I knew those words were meant to encourage me and keep me going, but it did nothing but bring sorrow, agony on me. I headed for my chamber so I could tell my mother everything. The plan was to pack and leave for Shadowcrest early next morning. It was going to be a tiring journey for me and Mother because we would walk, but I believe it would be worth it. I was on the track to another story. I went home feeling dejected and unhappy, but I decided to trust my heart. When I told my mum that we won't be joined by the warriors, she was so disappointed, and I also knew the disappointment the people of Shadowcrest would feel too. It was horrible to think that I would fight this alone. The situation was bigger than me. Maybe Orion was wrong about me. I can't save my people. I'm not a warrior. I'm not cut out for it. This was not for me at all, and I felt horrible. I went straight to bed, even though I wanted to use my powers to find out if Mascot talked to Thorne, or if it was his own decision to bail on me. Seeing visions required my full concentration, and I didn't have that at the moment. I was heartbroken, and my heart raced every single time I thought of Laura and Thorne. I woke up the next morning only to see that my mother had already packed our little bags. I must have slept off and didn't know when it was morning. Good morning, Mother, I greeted her, smiling. Good morning. How was your night? Good, I said, and stretched so much on the bed that it seemed I would break. The sofa seemed quite relaxing at the moment that I didn't feel like leaving. We have a long day, my mother reminded me. Yeah, I know. I shrugged, not trying to think about it. It was finally time to go back to Shadowcrest, and I was bringing bad news to them. So you're leaving this clan without your friends and without the warriors you promised Shadowcrest? It was my mother asking me. I sighed. Was she trying to help me or make things worse for me? I felt stupid as I wondered if anything good was going to come out of this. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Everything will be fine. I'm here now. She caressed my hands and helped me sit up. Take your bath so we can leave. After I was done with taking my shower and eating, I met my mother sitting her hands on her jaw. What's wrong? Do you regret coming out of your palace to this place with me? I knew I wasn't supposed to sound like this. I was insecure about everything, and I was glad my mother understood me because she rebuked me immediately. Don't say that. What I regret is not following you out of that God-forsaken place all this while. She nodded as she kept talking. I didn't know if she was joking or maybe trying to be nice, but it made me feel better in some sort of way to know that she would be with me no matter what. Do you want me to talk to your friends, especially Laura? Maybe she would listen to me. My mother suggested, but I decided against that. I didn't regard Laura as my friend anymore after the hurtful thing she said to me. We set off towards the east, hoping the sun would be fair to us, at least, but we were wrong. I appreciated the fact that the sun adorned the sky, but it was too harsh on our skin, and we still had so much distance to go. Thank God we brought water. Yeah, but we'll run out of water soon if we don't find a place to refill our bottles, I answered. The sun is so harsh. I feel ill after just 3 hours walking under the sun. My mother complained. I knew she was tired, but we had to keep up the journey. We walked and walked, but at some point we had to rest and find a place to sleep because it was getting late and we needed to find a good spot. Thorne had once taught me that to find a good sleeping space or a good place to lay your tent, you have to get a place that eyed out of the ordinary eyes. In simple terms, he said that the tent should be hidden from passers-by and wild animals. It was quiet good, as I remembered him teaching me how to set up a tent. This place is nice. My mother pointed at a space. I looked around to check if ticked all the boxes that Thorne made mention of. Yes, this would do, I answered. I got 2 nice fishes from the river, and I grilled them as I thought about Thorne. I was grateful that I knew who he was and that we were once friends, even though it seemed he didn't want me anymore. Where did you learn how to grill fish so perfectly? My mother questioned me with eyes wide open as she tasted the fish I had made. This is so good, she nodded, taking more for herself. I laughed as I watched her take one hot bite. Take it easy, Mum. It's hot. But seriously, where did you learn? From Thorne. He thought me on our way to Ice-crest to pick you, I answered. Wow. She grasped at first, then remembered something. I'm sorry you guys had to go your separate paths. Don't worry about that, Mum. It's in the past. If he doesn't want my friendship anymore, I guess that's his loss, I answered, not exactly trying to motivate myself. That's my girl. I knew you would be great one day. My mother praised me. You did? You knew? I asked, shocked. Yes, of course. Orion said something about your birth. It was more like a prophecy than just a saying. You knew Orion? Of course. I do. I interrupted my mother. You never mentioned that to me. My countenance had already changed and I was getting upset. Mum, you should learn how to open up to me, please. I pleaded with her. It's just me and you against this mean world, so please let's not hide things from each other, okay? I told her, then moved closer to give her a hug. I'm sorry. I guess I'm still learning to adjust in this place, so please forgive me and let's move on. I know that a lot has happened, but I want you to be strong and never give up. You deserve the good life. After our discussion, I felt at peace, and in a way, joy, that maybe I had that disagreement with Laura and Thorne just so I could have this moment with my mother. It was all worth it. We slept under the moonlight with the moon goddess smiling down at us. You must be proud, right? I asked, looking up to the sky. I'm still here, standing strong even though I have broken many times. We walked slowly the next evening. It was tiring, and I wished I could help my mother by carrying her, but I was tired myself. How could I help her if I couldn't help myself? Mum, according to this map, we are already very close to Shadowcrest. Don't worry. We'll just spend one more night in the forest and we'll be there in no time. I comforted her while leading her too. Okay, she simply nodded, too tired to say anything else. When it was evening in the dense forest, we walked along a narrow path The tall canopy above cast a patchwork of shadows on forest ground. Our clothes were smudged with dirt all over, and I felt so dirty, my eyes fixed on the floor, too tired to even lift a leg. I stared back at my mother and saw that she was feeling the same way. As night fell, the forest became more alive around us. The rustle of leaves, the singing of birds all made it relaxing in a way. My hair that I had put up into a ponytail was already a mess, but that was not my concern at the moment. I looked around in search of a place to set up our tent for the night. "We need to find a place to rest," my mother said, her voice just a little above a whisper. "I'm on it," I said as we continued walking. The sun hung very low on the sky, the moon preparing to take over. We walked over to some clusters of berries and crouched occasionally to check them out. "Do you think these are good?" I asked, asking Mum. "Well, they do look good, but we still have to be careful," my mother answered, taking one of the berries from my hand so as to examine them again. "Well, let's take them. I'm sure I'm very hungry, and the moon goddess would never give us poison, right?" my mother finally said, plucking the berries. We walked down a little bit. It suddenly seemed like the forest was helping out by providing nourishment because we saw patches of mushrooms that grew at the base of a tree. "Mushrooms!" I screamed in excitement. "I hope they're edible," I said, gathering the mushrooms in a small cloth bag that I was carrying. "Mushrooms are always good," my mother replied, joining me. As we kept walking, we saw a small stream trickling through the forest. It was indeed a miracle. We took some in our bottles, getting more for tomorrow too. With these, we decided to finally rest. I found a good place to set up our tent. I set the tent while Mother got the food ready. We agreed that it was not easy to find, but it was worth it. As I sat down, my mother handed me a bowl of cooked mushroom. "Not exactly a feast, but these will do," she said. "Of course," I chimed in, taking the plate from her. "Let's make do with the one we found today. By tomorrow, we'll be eating good food." I told my mother, "Diane can cook. Don't worry, you'll finally taste her food tomorrow," I said, taking a bite of the prepared mushroom. My mother murmured. "So she cooks more than I do?" she asked, staring at me. I laughed, figuring out that my mother was trying to trap me. "I didn't say that, Mum. You cook well, too. Like this mushroom." I showed her my bowl of food. "It tastes so heavenly." "Okay," my mother responded, smiling. The rest of the night, I told my mother things she should expect as we went to Shadowcrest. "You'll finally meet Orion again. I promise you that you wouldn't recognize him," I told my mother, and she laughed. "I can't wait," she simply answered. When we were done eating, we laid our backs down, facing the moon that was shining down at us. "Do you think the moon goddess is real?" I asked my mother after a lot of silence. "Of course." My mother sat up with shock. "Why would you ask that?" "Well, it's hard to believe that because all my life I have been feeling rejected and unwanted even though I work harder than most people I know," I told her, avoiding her eyes and still gazing at the moon. Maybe if there's someone up there, she wouldn't let me go through these tough times. Sometimes when we think it's the beginning of our story, it actually begins another beautiful story, my mother answered. "I want you to have faith in yourself and your gifts." My mother sounded like a motivational speaker as she kept on going and going about me being great and the fact that I should never give up. We laid there for a few minutes until I was ready to go into the tent. "Mum?" I called, but got no answer. I then shoved her a little because she was awake. "Go to the tent. You know we took so much water while eating the mushroom. I'll go get water from that little stream, and I'll be back in a jiffy. It'll be helpful for us," I said and helped her to her tent. I went over to the stream to get some more water, knowing that we could get very thirsty on the way tomorrow. The weather these days tends to be hotter than it used to be. The forest was serene as I walked joyfully, forgetting my recent misfortune with Laura and Thorne. Suddenly, I heard a scream from afar. It was a cry of surprise that seemed to be cut short. What was that? I wondered, afraid. For a moment, I was paralyzed with the thought of something happening to my mother. I ran quickly to the place where we had laid our tent. Just a few meters away, I saw my mother being pulled into the deeper part of the forest by a strange person whom I couldn't see his face. "No!" I screamed. Panic surged through me, my heart racing as I ran to the scene, but I was too late. She had already been taken, and no matter how far I ran, I would never catch up. I took a step forward, then finally regaining my energy, I screamed, "Help!" My voice echoed, but the forest offered no response or help whatsoever. I was desperate and confused as I was panting and paying around the tent. I was so sure that this was the handwork of Lucas, but who must have helped him now? He didn't know where we were, so I knew someone might have told him about this journey of mine. Who was it that told Lucas my whereabouts? Who betrayed me? Was it Laura or that greedy bastard Thorne? I was exhausted with the whole stuff, but I needed to get to my mother so they wouldn't harm her. Why would Lucas want to kidnap my mother in the first place? I wondered. I couldn't sleep, not when my mother's life was in danger, so I picked up the little luggage that belonged to me and my mum, some mushrooms and the remaining water, and headed for that path where I had last seen my mother. The path I was on could also lead me to Shadowcrest, so I kept walking. I keep straining my eyes and ears to hear from her once again. I actually had no clear plan, only to keep moving and fight if I had to. The fear of losing my mother gnawed at me, especially when I knew that I was the reason she was in the forest in the first place. I felt horrible and guilty as I kept walking, praying to see a track of her somewhere. I couldn't cry, not because I was affected, but I didn't want to bring so much attention to myself when I was already in deep trouble. I wanted to scream out her name, but that would still draw attention to me, and it wasn't a good idea, not this late at night. I didn't have a plan, but I kept walking. I walked until I was tired, and I found a place to sit. As I thought of all the misfortune I had been through, I shed tears and sobbed seriously. What was going on? I cried like I had never cried before, literally pouring out my heart and not caring if anyone would hear me. The next morning, I woke up in a strange place. As I opened my eyes, I realized that I had slept off while crying last night. I stretched myself as I stood up gradually. Where was I wondered, yawning. I was tired and my neck was in pain as I slept on the bare floor. I took out some berries from my bag and put them in my mouth, trying to satisfy my hunger. I continued walking while I took a look at my map. I didn't understand where I was and where I was going to, but I couldn't stop. Suddenly, I came to a farmland that looked quite familiar to me. I walked around trying to figure out where I had seen this similar farmland. Shadowcrest? I asked. Is this Shadowcrest? I asked myself again, not completely sure. I'm sure. This is it. I walked closer to know if I could find anyone that would help me find my way. No one came, so I followed my intuition and heart, and before I could say a word, I was in the clan already. People running, some working, the children playing. It was like the Shadowcrest that I knew. You're welcome. The people greeted me with smiles on their faces. As I walked further, I could hear people whispering. She's the one that would finally deliver our clan. She's the king's daughter. I was proud to be addressed as this, but it felt bad that these people were counting on me, and all I was going to do is bring them heartbreak. Welcome, Naomi. It was Chad. It had been a long time that I heard that cute, soothing voice. Oh, my baby, how are you doing? I carried all the way up. I'm okay, but Naomi, I'm not longer a baby. I'm a man now. He told, and I burst out laughing, then joined by Diane. She looked tired and weak just by looking at her face. A man? A little man, you mean? No, there's nothing like a little man, he answered, and we burst out laughing again. Get down and let Naomi rest, okay? Diane told him. Go get some fruits for her. Chad ran off with that excitement, while I gave Disney a hearty hug that lasted longer than it should. You don't look good, she told me after the hug. Come on, let's talk. She took my hands, trying to lead me into her chambers. Why do your hands feel hot? I asked, grabbing both of them. She was obviously sick, and that was why she couldn't open up. Come on, I'll use the oil ointment on you, I told her, now trying to lead her into her chambers. No, she stopped. What do you mean by no? I'll use the healing ointment on you, and you'll get better. No, Naomi, this is different. Come on in. I'll explain everything to you. As we walked in, I realized that I wasn't the only one that had been having a bad week. Why don't you want to get treated? Why? Because what I'm suffering from can't be helped or healed, she responded, staring at me. I'm still waiting for you to say something I can understand. Orion says my illness can't be stopped and it's from the moon goddess. She said in a very quiet tone, "How can a sickness be from the moon goddess, the one who's supposed to be protecting us? I'm going to see Orion now." I stood up with the speed of light. "That's not necessary." She called out to me, "What we need now is for you to deliver this clan." "How was your journey?" she asked, her eyes lit in expectation. "I was successful." I shrunk back to my seat. "What do you mean?" "It didn't work," I said simply, but with the stare on her face, I knew she needed more explanation. I couldn't get those warriors on my side. For a few seconds, everywhere seemed insanely quiet as Diane looked away, shrugging her shoulders. "Is this it? For Shadowcrest? Is this where it ends for us?" she asked, looking up to the sky. "Laura and Thorne left and my mother was kidnapped too." I finally told her the most heartbreaking news of all. "Your mother?" "Yes, she was kidnapped, I guess by Lucas and his men. Currently I'm confused and I do not know what to do," I said, using my hand as a support for my head that seemed surprisingly heavy for me to carry. Suddenly, Diane fell to the ground, fainting as she was still trying to process the whole situation. "Diane! Diane! Diane!" I screamed her name multiple times, but there was no response. At this moment, people started running into her chambers because of my screams that, "Oh no." I watched Diane as she still lay on her bed, still not being able to move since yesterday when the ugly incident happened. Till this moment, I still blamed myself for what happened. Just this morning, I noticed her skin going pale and her breathing shallow. I was scared that I had caused this. I was afraid that I might have caused her the pain she was experiencing. I was still grieving about the fact that I was in search of my mother, and now, this? What the hell was actually going on? She'll be okay. The illness is making it hard for her to have a fast recovery, but she'll be okay. The doctor told us. I was relieved when I heard that. I could easily breathe now, but was still a little agitated. As I sat there waiting for her to open her eyes, finally I thought of all the ways I could help bring back my mother. I had hoped that the people of Shadowcrest would help me find her, but who would help me anymore, seeing that the only ruler they know is lying down, motionless on the hospital bed because of me? Maybe I was quite unfortunate and caused misfortune to anyone I met. Suddenly, I was brought back to reality by Diane's cough. She coughed multiple times that I was afraid she would choke. She opened her eyes, but it seemed she didn't have a clear focus because she kept blinking them. "Where is this place?" she asked. "Hospital. You were brought here when you fainted yesterday," I explained to her, seeing that she truly looked confused. "Why bring me here?" she asked, about to sit up. "I'm fine. I don't need to be here." No, please do not get up. Get some rest." I urged her to keep her legs back in the blanket. "How are you feeling now? Don't tell me that you're fine. I need a detailed explanation." "Well, all I can say is that my body is so weak and I can't seem to understand why I feel this weak. I believe it's the doctor's drugs," I said, and strangely, there was silence and I thought of what to say. "I'm really sorry for what happened," I told her, taking her fingers in mine. "Why? Did you try to kill me?" she asked, completely catching me in shock. "No, why would I do that?" I asked. I'm joking. Why are you apologizing? You did absolutely nothing wrong," she said and then laughed. "You need to see your face." We shared a laugh. "You don't look good. Have you sent us a search party out for your mother?" she asked, looking deeply concerned. "Not yet," I answered with a mumble. "What are you doing then?" "Waiting for your recovery." I felt so bad that I wanted to cry. I had thought I lost you. Diane smiled at me, caressing my hands. "Don't worry, I'll be fine. I'm sure I'll be. Let's find your mother first. Gather the people and speak to them. Choose 5 men to go out in search of your mother," she told me confidently, but I still didn't move an inch. "What's wrong?" "They'll not listen to me," I explained to her. "Who would listen to a woman who had made promises to them and then failed? A woman who also caused the sickness of their ruler. I can't speak to them. They might probably stone me to death," I answered. "Don't worry, they listen to you." She pushed me a little closer to her and cupped my face. "Just because everything seemed to be falling on the wrong path, I want you to believe that everything will be fine and that this war will be in our favor." I watched her closely. How does she not give up on situations like this? She never lost hope that this clan would find its redemption even after it was attacked 13 years ago. I loved her faith. I took a breath, thanked Diane, and went to assemble the warriors. With the sound of the bell, everyone assembled immediately since they were all anxious to know the result of Diane. "I have good news," I said. "Diane is finally awake." The moment of joy that I felt as I watched the scene before me was heartwarming. Everyone jumped, screamed, and hugged each other for a few moments, then all went silent again, anticipating the second news. Secondly, most of you here, especially the elders, know Queen Isabella, my mother. She was with me on a journey to return here with me for our redemption when she was kidnapped. I said, let that information digest. I could see as they murmured, "Oh, Queen Isabella, I miss her. She was an angel." I was happy to hear beautiful things about my mother. I was then sure they'd surely help me since Luna Isabella was once their queen. Please, if you're interested in helping to search for her, please indicate. I was so glad when I saw so many hands in the air. I was now left to make my choice and choose the people dim fit for this job. Thank you, all, for indicating. I want us to get this done by tomorrow. So the search starts tomorrow, and I expect you all to be available. I told them, thanked them, and left. When I got back to the hospital, Diane was being fed by a nurse. "How was it?" she asked immediately as she sighted me from the door. "It worked better than I thought it would, and I'm grateful to you," I told her, going forward to give her a hug. She threw her arms wide open for me, accepting me. "I just want you to never give up," she replied. "Do you remember where the incident took place yesterday?" she asked me. It would truly be of great help to them. All I can remember was that we were already very close to Shadowcrest when it happened. I guess whoever it was followed us because I had just left to get some water for our journey the next day. I was scared when it happened, and I still am. I bowed my head. "What if something wrong happens to her?" I asked. I just felt that I should have never started this in the first place. Diane watched me sob, but then smiled. "The moon goddess would never forsake you. Trust her." I wasn't sure about anything in his journey anymore, but I knew quite well that I didn't believe in the moon goddess anymore. I was grateful to Diane for her help. "Do you think I should go with them? I actually can't sit here relaxed while my mother is in custody. That would be very bad of me," I told her, trying to make her understand. "Do you think that's a good idea?" "Yes, I do. I want to help. I feel so guilty for bringing her out to this forest, and now she's been kidnapped. It's all my fault." "You think so?" she asked, trying to remove the hair on my face. "Well, if this is what you want to do, then no problem. Thank you so much, Diane. You have been the best person I have gotten to know these past few months. I love you so much," I said, hugging the breath out of her. She laughed and then coughed, reminding me that she was sick. "Oh, I'm sorry, but you're simply the best," I said to her, then paid more attention to what she was eating. "What's that?" I asked Diane, but instead got a response from the nurse. "This is her drug, but in a mashed form. We wanted to make sure she'll eat, so we had to make it in this form, so Shen could easily take her drugs," the nurse dutifully explained. "Oh." I nodded, then looked at the squeezed face of Diane as she took and digested the mixture. "Does it taste that bad?" "Do you want to have a taste?" she asked. "You can give her so she'll take some," she told the nurse. No, I said, rejecting the mixture the nurse was seriously handing over to me. "What's the problem? Don't you want to taste it?" Diane asked, teasing me, but I just smiled. After she was fed, I waited until she fell asleep before I then went to my chambers to prepare for the journey tomorrow. I was going to help look for my mother, and I was determined to kill Lucas if I found out he was the one behind this. I was so sure that it was him because I didn't have any other enemies that wanted my life. I unpacked and found the berries and mushroom leftovers we had last night. It brought me to tears thinking that I was with my mother yesterday, and now she was nowhere to be found just because of my stubbornness. Suddenly, an idea hit me. Orion had told me that I had the power of vision, and I had experienced it once. Now was the time to try it again. I wanted to find out where my mother was hidden and how I could get there by tomorrow. I had to turn off any form of distraction, so I closed the doors, the windows, and calmed myself down. I tried not to let anything worry me. I took a deep breath and then imagined seeing my mother's face. For a few minutes, I tried so hard to see her face, but I was continuously distracted by different things. I was tired and frustrated, and it showed, but I didn't give up. I needed the information fast, because it would be helpful to the warriors, and tomorrow. So I gave it one more try. I closed my eyes and kept them tightly shut, blocking out every noise, then put my concentration on my mother's face. Then everything went blank and cold. I could literally feel the cold in my body. Then my eyes opened to a huge, dark, familiar room. It was poorly lit and poorly designed, too. There was really nothing fancy about this room, if not that I knew that I had seen it somewhere. I walked slowly, trying to remember where I had come across this room. Then I saw my mother tied. Her hands and feet were tied, and she tied to a chair. Mother. I wanted to save her, but I realized that it was in my vision, and I couldn't get her out of there. Then, from a corner, I saw Laura come out, holding hands with Mascot. It was Laura. She was the one who told Mascot about my whereabouts. She betrayed me. She helped Lucas and Mascot get my mother. At this point, I wasn't confused about Laura anymore. I was sure that I hated her, and nothing could change that. What should we do to her? Laura asked, turning to Mascot, who drew her close to him in a hug, then holding her waist. I glanced at my mother, and I could see how disgusted she looked, seeing Laura. I was so disappointed with her. Lucas wants to use her to get to Naomi, he said. I hope this plan works. Of course it will. Naomi loves her mother dearly. Laura responded, turning to my mother, who was staring at them, trying to say something. Your daughter would finally pay for the pain she caused me. We are going to leave her here with tight security so no one will find her. You've been very helpful. Mascot said to Laura, bringing her close again. This place is very nice for a hideout, Mascot laughed. That was when I recognized the building. It was the same hut we had ran to on our way to Stormclaw because of the rain. Yes, no one would find her here, not even Naomi, Laura said. It was strange coming from Laura. She knew that I was aware of the hut and that I had powers to track her, or was she simply stupid? Everything will work out so you don't have to worry, Laura affirmed to her lover. I just want you to know that I'll always be here to support you. She gave him a kiss on the cheek. Yes, of course. I love you, Laura said, but got no response from Mascot. I watched them leave from the corner they had come in through. I watched my mother and my heart bled. How would Laura do this to me? I suddenly opened my eyes, and I was back to reality. What I saw gave me the determination to find Lucas, Laura, and Mascot and fight them. They believed I was weak, and that since I was alone, I could do nothing. I'll show them that truly I'm my father's daughter. I won't let what had happened to my father 13 years ago repeat itself again, never. Lycas would pay for ruining my life and making life miserable for me ever since I was a little child. I became scared of the unknown, not knowing who my father was and who killed him. I took a deep breath and tried to strategize on how to get my mother out of that God-forsaken place. How could we get into that place without getting noticed so no one would know that we came? I thought and wondered, trying to come up with what to do. Later that evening, I still hadn't made up my mind on what I should do and how I should go about it. I knew that Lucas would have the whole place surrounded by his men who were ever ready to kill, so I had to plan well so I wouldn't get hurt or hurt my mother in the process. I thought of speaking to Laura first and convincing to be my friend again so she could help me save my mother, but I was against that option. If Laura had truly turned against me because she loved Mascot and wanted to prove it to him, then nothing I say would make her change her mind. She was on her own now, and she would face the consequences since she brought it up upon herself. After all, she plotted to have my mother kidnapped. Why would she help me save her? She knew that we were going to Shadowcrest. That was why she was able to kidnap my mother when I was there. All I was sure of was that my mother wasn't going to get killed because of my stupid mistake of trusting Laura. I paced my chambers, still trying to come up with something. I wanted a small operation, not something huge and loud. We currently aren't ready for war with Lucas, so I was trying to just rescue my mother with no big drama. I decided to go to sleep very early so I could wake up strong and healthy. Tomorrow was going to be a good day, and I didn't want to mess it up by waking up late. The next morning, as the first ray of sun filtered through the curtains, I rose slowly and stretched myself. I felt the cold breeze on my face through my open window. It's going to be a wild day, I remind myself. Dragging my tired self out of the bed, I went into the washroom to brush my teeth. As I stared at the mirror, I noticed a pimple that had just begun to appear on my face. I hissed as I touched it, then I ignored it. I brushed quickly, then took my bath. When I was done dressing up, I looked out of the window, only to see that the warriors were already waiting for me. Oh God, I muttered as I made an effort to prepare faster so I wouldn't keep them waiting. I went outside to meet them, each with a look of determination on their face. They were ready, bound by duty, to do whatever they could to save their queen, my mother. We are at your service. Damien, the chief in command, whom I was later told was the bravest of them all, said to me. I nodded, trying to look brave in the best way that I could. What's your order, Ma? He asked me at attention. I want to thank everyone that agreed to be here with me. First off, I found the hidden place where they hid my mother. All I need now is your unwavering support to get the queen back to where she belongs. I moved to and fro as I spoke to them. I need your help because knowing who Lucas is, he is going to flood that place with security. We are ready to do anything to bring the queen back. She belongs here at Shadowcrest. Damien screamed and the others concord. Thank you. So I want us to be discreet about it. I'll leave the floor to Damien, I said, letting Damien take the mic. We don't want to give them any chance against us, so some of us would stay here to protect the clan, while the others will come, either Naomi and I. Some of you men would guard the entrance while I and Naomi finally go in to find the queen. As I thought about it, I knew it was a good plan, and Damien was a good warrior, so he would keep to his words. Before we left, Diane came from the hospital to say a short word of encouragement to us. Then we set out. The soldiers move in unison and according to their rank. Damien led the way next to me as the commander-chief. We walked in silence, no one chattering, just observing. We had walked some distance before Damien asked me some questions. I want to know what and who we are against, he said to him, still walking by my side. Well, as you must have heard, I didn't grow up here. My mother and I were taken away when I was still little by a man who hated us so much. He was the one that also killed my father, the Alpha of Shadowcrest. I believe he is also the one responsible for the kidnap of the Luna. Why is he against your family? He asked, and I understood why he needed to ask that single question. Well, I'm not sure. That's why I need to find out by myself, I answered him. You know the reason why I must question you, right? He asked me, and I nodded. I understand. We walked furthermore with me turning occasionally to see if I was still being. I was anxious and nervous and didn't know how to go about it. If truly Laura plotted this with Lucas, then I'll meet her there too. How could I face a lady who betrayed me, someone that I thought would stand by me always? We stopped to take water at a clean stream. Then I went to speak with Damien. I hope your warriors are ready. This man I'm speaking about is a very dangerous and tough man. We have to be very careful so we don't lose anyone in this fight. I talked as Damien nodded and assured me that everything was sorted out. We'll go ahead with your plans of dispersing the warriors and then have some on the lookout. Shortly after, my surroundings were becoming familiar again, and I was sure we were now getting to that same hut that I had seen in my vision. We are close by, I announced loudly so they could all hear me and get their minds prepared. I was going to save my mother from the hands of the enemy. This time, we walked slowly and gently to avoid attention from anyone or any of the security. Damien then ordered 7 of his warriors to surround the vicinity, an order which they carried out immediately. Look, Damien pointed in a direction.